Guys, it's Johnny, and welcome to episode 51 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. We got Anton Crayley from AntonMethod.com here, and we have an exciting week here in Chiang Mai. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, everyone? Hey, thanks for listening again. From Chiang Mai, from Johnny's new apartment. Pretty sweet. Yeah, Johnny and Larissa's apartment, I should say. But yeah, really nice place. And I'm back in Chiang Mai for a couple of weeks. Just like we talked about last time on the last podcast we did together. It's because the retreat's finally here. It's been, like 6 or 7 months in the making, but it's here.
Yeah, so this is going to be a sneak peek of everything that's going on in that retreat. Anton mentioned me and Larissa moved in together, so we have that's kind of a nice big change in my life. Lots of craziness going on. And the last time I saw you, we were where?
Budapest.
Yeah, and that was, it's insane. And this lifestyle we live, where it doesn't feel like that long ago. I mean, I actually have no idea how long ago it was.
It was probably about 2 months ago. I don't think it was that long ago. Yeah.
And now we were in Chiang Mai, and the crazy thing, all right, so Punspace has been insane recently, and for a couple of different reasons. So some of you guys may have heard of the raid, the crackdown at Punspace, and so I was actually detained yesterday. 20 armed military guards with machine guns came in and detained me and about 15 other digital nomads and took us down to immigration.
Yeah, and you probably all know this already if you're listening, but if you don't, Punspace is the co-working space here in Chiang Mai out in Thailand, and it's where I worked and last year when I was living here, where Johnny works and where a lot of guys from the course work. And I was actually supposed to meet Johnny for lunch that day. The way I found out about it was a text at around 11:30 a.m. from Johnny saying, I might be late for lunch, Pun just got raided. So yeah, he can tell you what happens. Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to know more about it, just check out my blog, johnnyfd.com. I was basically live updating, and I was so scared that I was like, maybe I was like, I was trying to forward this Travel Like a Boss podcast domain to a part domain, and I was like, I had no idea what was going on, so I started live blogging about it just because we were detained for so many hours, and at the end of the day, it is a big win for digital nomads around the world.
Yeah, when it first happened, so everyone obviously started talking about it right away. The good news is they didn't take anyone's cell phones away, so a lot of the 18 people who were detained were tweeting about it, posting updates on Facebook, and Johnny started blogging about it. So literally, I think the whole entire digital nomad community, if you want to call it, was checking Johnny's blog. And what basically came out of it was, a lot of interviews to find out what was actually going on at Punspace, to really get to the bottom of it. And then everyone got released and didn't get fined at all. And what I thought was great about it is they can actually fine you if you don't carry your passport on you, or what they said is at least a photocopy of your passport and a photocopy of your recent visa to make sure you're not overstaying your stay, to make sure you have a visa. And most people at Punspace, it makes perfect sense. And Johnny didn't even had his visa on him, but his girlfriend brought it to him, which was great. But most people there didn't have visas at all, or their passports on them, I should say. They had active visas, so they could have been fined, but immigration actually didn't impose any fines. They let everyone go after about 3 hours of questioning. So it seems like the digital nomad community wins. No one got in trouble, no one got fined, and everyone was back to the office the next morning.
Yeah, because when they interviewed everyone, they asked what we did. I mean, I don't think anyone actually flat out said, they're working online doing XYZ, but 99% of the people said, I do marketing. And I'm here to check email, I write blogs, I'm online, but it's for a U.S. company, or I used to work for a U.S. company. So, and Thai immigration didn't seem at all concerned about that. I think at the end of the day, and nobody actually knows why Punspace got raided, but a big part of it was they thought that we were employees of Punspace, because it just doesn't make sense that we would pay to use an office and work.
Yeah, if you think of it from an outsider's perspective, for Punspace, what is it? It's 3,000 baht a month.
Yeah.
So everyone that's at Punspace is paying about $100 a month to work in an office, and I think for people from Thailand, and I'm not saying they're not intelligent at all, and I think they kind of had an idea what was going on, but for them to think wow, there's 30 people in an office paying money to be here and work and not get paid from this company, it does seem a little ridiculous, even because the salaries here are very low. So it kind of seemed like something was going on, and what they said with their official reasoning was for bringing everyone in was that they thought that Punspace was actually employing everyone that was in the office. So there's a lot of different theories going around as to what actually happened, because people think that's a little too ridiculous. Yeah. But coming from a different world, it can make sense. It's kind of like one of those lost in translation things.
Yeah, because a few years ago, before I met any digital nomads or knew what a location dependent entrepreneur was, I didn't even know this lifestyle at all was possible. And I was already living in Thailand. Mm-hmm. I was scuba diving, I was traveling, and I had absolutely no idea that it was even possible to make money online. I never been to a co-working space. I didn't know what it was. And I would have thought the same thing. I would have been like, why would anyone pay money to work? Isn't that the whole reason why you want to be a digital nomad?
Right. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, just so everyone knows, because I was actually, my main concern was that Johnny and all my friends were about to get deported. So I sent out a bunch of texts just saying, if anyone needs me to come and bring anything, I'll come. But I really thought that there was a good possibility in the next 5 hours, a lot of my friends were going to be getting some really bad news, and that this whole retreat that we're doing here was going to be shut down. But what happened is everyone got out, no fines, no issues, even people that were violating the rules by not having their visas. So everyone got out with no problems, didn't pay anything, and it seems like a win for our community.
It definitely is. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I know there's no big deal is they actually let me extend my visa while I was there for another 30 days. And I was worried because I had just signed a year lease, just moved with my girlfriend and to this amazing place. It's right on Neiman. It's kind of, it's a 5-minute walk from Punspace. It's a cool place with a swimming pool, has a nice rooftop, and I was so excited, just to be here now. It's a separate 1-bedroom, so we finally kind of have a normal life with the washing machine, and it's what I would have if I lived back in San Francisco or in Austin, but for literally a tenth of the price. Mm-hmm. So, win for the Dojo Nomads. You heard it here first, I guess. Yeah. That it's fine to come out here. Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, for the people listening to this, I mean, it kind of depends on how long you've been listening for, but recently this last week, the other kind of big exciting news is the sheer amount of people showing up to Chiang Mai saying, I'm here for the retreat, I'm here to work online, I'm here to to network and meet other digital nomads. And so for today, there's that one guy that you said was listening to this podcast since episode 24.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, I just got here myself a few days ago to kind of give myself a week on the ground for the actual, preparing for everything. And I can't believe how many people are here already. And what's awesome is I remember last time Johnny and I did a podcast that we spoke about the retreat on, we were saying how really beneficial it would be if people could get not just those 5 days off of work, but maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even a month. And I mean, there's people posting in the Facebook group now that they've actually resigned from their jobs and they're coming out here to stay. And today at lunch, I met people from the course that are here for 3 months. One guy's here for 5 months. I mean, people are really they're doing this. It's amazing. It's so crazy to think how people's lives are changing. So it's really exciting. But the one negative, if anything, to that is that Punspace is insane right now. So it's super packed. And I wouldn't say don't join because immigration's a problem, because it's not. I'd say don't join because there's just too many people. So what's great about being here in a community like this is the networking. But at the same time, when you go to the office, you want to have your group of friends you could talk to, but you want to be able to go and get work done. And I feel like at this point, there's so many new people now that it's going to be more of a conversation than a heads down work thing. So I could definitely recommend some other places. And during the retreat, we'll give plenty of suggestions. And what's actually amazing is that Punspace is just about to open their second location. So that could be huge, a whole new space. I think it's bigger, and there'll be, much less people at first. So we could basically take it over if we want to. But yeah, we'll keep the options open. So
yeah, definitely. And for me, I can zone out. Today, yeah. One of the new guys that was here, Daniel, he asked me where he can buy headphones. So I said, oh yeah, there's a supermarket called Tops down the street. It's a few minute walk. And then I go back down to my computer, doing what I'm doing. And then I swear that the very next time I look up, he's wearing headphones. And I say to him, I was like, why do you want to buy new headphones? Don't you have some already? And he says, what are you talking about? I ran out and bought these. And I came back. Yeah. So he was gone for probably at least half an hour. Yep. And, got up, bought the headphones, came back, sat down, and I didn't even realize he was gone. Yeah. He was sitting right next to me.
So maybe you can get in the zone better because you've been here a while. But I feel like if you're new, you're going to want to be kind of looking around, talking to people. And that's great. And that's why, we're going to get into what's actually happening at the retreat. But one of the reasons that in the afternoons, we're not going to be listening to presentations. We're not going to all just be sitting around together. We're actually going to be out and about doing things. And that's to get that networking time in. So in the mornings, it's all about learning and actually doing things. Then in the afternoon, it's about just going out, having fun, and getting to know each other. Because, I mean, that's what I did today. For example, this whole morning I worked, and this afternoon I went to our buddy Dan's house and I played this board game he's created and that he's starting a Kickstarter for, and I met 5 new really cool people. So that's what these kind of retreat events are all about. That's why we're doing it. And it's to kind of separate that business time from lifestyle time, which is a very important thing you'll have to do if you're working for yourself, if you're living in a place like this, because the opportunity to just kind of have fun all day is there, but you need to have the work-life balance. So that's what we're going to do during the retreat.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And as it's getting closer now, I'm so stoked. And what's actually almost retarded is, even though I have this great apartment now, and it's literally 5 minutes away from the hotel where the retreat's going to be at, I've booked a room for every single night while I'm there. That way I can just fully immerse myself, and I can be available just to hang out with everyone and network. Because I don't want to go to the retreat for just the normal hours and then afterwards say, okay, bye, see you guys tomorrow. I want to be there from morning till night. I want to have breakfast with everyone. I want to listen to all the presentations, do the activities, then have dinner, and then hang out by the pool until 10 o'clock and be like, all right, now I'm gonna go to bed.
See, and what's really cool about this conference, this retreat, like we're calling it, is this is actually the first conference that I've ever been to. So I don't have any like preconceived notion, in my head of like how it's supposed to go down. So what I started doing a few weeks ago, when I really wanted to get into like the finer details of planning, was looking how a lot of these conferences are formatted. And it seems like the first day people will meet up for like 3 or 4 hours. Then the next day there's a few presentations, and then like that's it. So you have a lot of time by yourself where you're free. And I understand for the fact that most people are flying halfway around the world to come out to a different place. I don't want to, go till 3 and then say, okay, guys, see you in the morning. So like Johnny's saying, this is like kind of like a full, I guess, like immersion, you can call it, of just being surrounded by people that are in the same situation as you and trying to just hustle as hard as possible. So we're meeting in the morning. If you're staying at the hotel, we're all having breakfast together while we're there. We're jumping into presentations. We're networking there together. We're going out in the afternoon to have fun. At night, there's parties arranged. There's dinners arranged. So it's really like, it's a full-time thing. I think people might be even like, you're going to be tired when it's over. You're gonna be exhausted. Yeah, you're going to be exhausted by Friday night.
But it's going to be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? That's the other reason why I'm so excited for this, is it's really going to be fun. It's not just a conference where you're there to learn things. You're there. It's the way that you've set it up is a great balance of networking, learning, having time to actually implement it, but also be able to see Thailand, because most of the people, like 90% of the people, are flying out from the US or Australia or Europe just to come to this retreat.
Yep.
Which, if you think about it, so if you guys listened to one of the older episodes when we were down in Koh Lanta and Anton first came up with this crazy idea, in his mind, he was like, well, yeah, there's probably 8 people, maybe 10. And he's like, let's just rent a big house and we'll just have it there. Yep. And so, now...
Yeah, that was the plan. That was the conversation. Go back and listen to that episode with Johnny and I when we first started brainstorming the idea as we were recording a podcast. And the idea was, 8 to 10 people in a big house in the mountains of Chiang Mai, just kind of brainstorming, networking, masterminding. And then after we talked about that, I remember you got so many comments like on Facebook, on your podcast, on the blog, and like everyone's like, I want to come. And then I announced it. I sent out an email to everyone that's in the course and I said, who's interested? And the response was just insane. So I realized that there really is like a desire for this. So that's why we're not just bringing people out here to see the inside of a conference center. And I'm sure everyone knows that has signed up already. After you register for the retreat, you get an email that asks you what are the top 3 things you want to take away from this. And it's amazing because I would say on 90% or more, the top 1 is always networking. And sometimes people only send 1, and that's always networking. So that's what people are looking for. So of course, there's going to be a lot of value. And I want to announce like who's going to be presenting and speaking, because I'm actually excited. So the way I wanted to set it up is, yes, I'll be talking in the beginning of it, and I want to introduce everyone. I want to welcome everyone. I want to talk to you all throughout the week, but it's not going to be like Johnny or myself up on stage the entire time trying to teach you guys stuff, because we both make videos. Like Johnny has Optimized Like a Boss. If you're in my course, you see my videos. I add new videos and we create content for you. But there's a lot of people out there who are doing really well, who do things that neither of us do yet. So what I've basically done is like tapped into my network of people that I know that are doing really well and ask them to share different topics that we can learn and then take action on. So I'm actually I'm really excited about it because I know I'm going to learn a lot. So I'm planning on launching a new store after this, and I'm planning on using all of these techniques and seeing what happens, because it's stuff that I've never tried, honestly.
Well, I think that's what makes a great seminar, is when even the host is excited for every single speaker. You're not just there filling time slots. You're there because these people are going to bring so much value. Like, who are some of these people and what are they going to be talking about?
Yeah, so basically I could walk everyone through day to day just so you know what you're in for, what we're going to be doing. So after that whole Punspace thing happened, I was a little worried about how things would play out with immigration. Now I know it's all fine, but I was so worried that I booked the conference center for an extra half day just so we have a place that we could all kind of go to and be safe and work. And just so you know, like, yes, you can go anywhere. It is safe now, but I booked it anyway. So the retreat actually starts on Tuesday, the October 7th, but on October 6th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., we do have a huge space that's going to be open in the Ibis Styles Conference Center, where we can all go meet up if you want to. Of course, it's not mandatory, but that's just a place to go meet some of us while I'm kind of preparing. Johnny will be there kind of preparing, and you can get work done. So that's Monday. Tuesday is when the retreat actually starts. We're all going to meet up at 9 a.m. at the conference center. It's on the 8th floor, and obviously there'll be signs everywhere pointing to it, so you won't have a problem finding it. But we're going to get up there, and then that whole first morning is really all about getting to know each other, because I wish I could say like I knew everyone coming out, but I don't. The people I know are people that have reached out to me via email, people that post progress threads on the forum, and people that I know from Chiang Mai or Vietnam or different communities that are coming out. But there are many people that are coming that I've only really seen their email address. So.
Well, you know what? For me, I mean, I'm very active on your forums.
Yep.
A lot of people contact me through my Facebook or comments, and every single day, for the last couple of weeks, I've been meeting people who, come up and they're like, hey, I'm Tyler, I'm, whoever, so-and-so,
yep.
I'm here for the retreat, and never seen their name, never seen them post a single progress thread. And I asked them, like, how do you, how's your store doing? How are you doing? They're like, well, I'm making enough to come out here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really what it is. And it's amazing. So like, I know there's so many people out there that, again, like, I'm excited for this. I want to meet all you. And I know we all do. So it's basically that morning is going to be myself giving a presentation, Johnny giving a presentation about e-commerce optimizations and tweaks he does to his own stores, and then a lot of networking. So there's a few different like games and things like that we have set up. Then we're going to break for lunch. So day one is really all about networking again. And then in the afternoon after lunch, which is at the conference center, we're going to get into a bunch of song towels. I don't know if you guys know what they are yet. If you don't, look them up. But the reason we're doing that instead of a VIP coach bus that day is because it's the only way we can get up to Doi Satep, which is the temple at the top of the mountain in Chiang Mai. So yeah.
It's a sick temple.
Yeah.
It's all gold.
Yeah.
We'll
Pretty baller.
Yeah. We'll post up some photos and actually, a video of this, because I was up there with Sonic from one of the older interviews, and we did a video of him giving some player tips.
Yep.
And he released some doves.
Yeah.
And that was one of my favorite videos.
Yeah, it was epic. I remember that one. Yeah. So, but we're all gonna go from the conference center. We're all gonna get taken up there, and it's a cool place just to like walk around and explore, and literally overlook the city, so you could see everything. So just like a beautiful place to spend a few hours in an afternoon. So we're gonna do that. Then we're all gonna get taken back to the conference center. Everyone could just shower, do whatever you got to do, and then at 6 p.m. we have a bunch of cars picking us up to take us to Coffee Monster. So I was there all morning today over at Coffee Monster working with the owner, one of the owners, Leon, and we set up an awesome networking party for Monday night. It's going to be ridiculous. I hired a 7-piece band, so we'll have live music. They have a pool table, they have a ping pong table just to play games on. There's a buffet dinner that's included for everyone, taking care of that, so we all get dinner there. And there's going to be not only our group of people that are working on these e-commerce stores, but it's also going to be open to other entrepreneurs that are here in Chiang Mai. So
for any of you guys who are living in Chiang Mai but not part of Anton's program and haven't signed up for the retreat, you guys are welcome to come to the networking party. It's going to be a Coffee Monster. I'll have a link to it in the show notes of this episode.
It officially starts Tuesday night, October 7th at 7 p.m.
Okay, cool. So as far as the retreat, I almost feel bad that we're getting people so excited for this, because a lot of you guys, maybe you guys are still back in the U.S. and there's no way you're going to get out here in 2 days.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I want you guys to learn from this, well, first, a couple of things. I want you guys to still basically follow along the journey and enjoy it. And it's one of those things where if I had listened to this when I was back in my cubicle or back at a job that I didn't really love, this would motivate me. And, I'd want to at least follow along, at least kind of live vicariously, and make it your goal. Make it, because you know what? I mean, the spoiler alert, but this is not going to be the last retreat.
No. Yeah, this is going to be a yearly thing already. I mean, it's going to be epic. And just so you know, if you are missing it, you will be able to follow along. One of the other course members who you guys probably know has been on Johnny's podcast, Ben Finnegan, he's going to be out here, and he's actually filming the entire thing. So I'm going to have videos uploaded so you could watch all the fun stuff, like you could see what we're up to. But if you're a course member in the members area, all of the presentations, which is the actual, besides the networking, which is the real value, there's tons of value in the presentations, and they're all going to be filmed and uploaded into the members area. So if you're not coming in and you want that information, that's there for you.
That's cool. So even the members that didn't pay for the retreat, they can still get free access to the presentations?
Yes.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. So if you're not here, don't worry. You're still going to be able to learn, and then, not just learn, but implement it, so you could be one of those guys that's out here that I don't know, that when I meet you say, yeah, I'm in your course, I'm killing it. And I say, oh, that's amazing. Like, I can't, like, I'm happy to meet you. So yeah, you're going to get that. And then, yeah, so that's the party. That's the party on Monday, Tuesday night, Tuesday, October 7th. And from there, we're all going to get rides home. And, you know, something like this, you can kind of come and go as you want. So the way I'm setting it up is that there's going to be the cars there that are basically just waiting outside. So if you want to leave early, you leave early. And the official party ends at 10 p.m. After that, there's going to be a DJ. So if you wanted to stay later, you can. I honestly probably won't because I go to sleep early and I wake up early. And Tuesday's a big day with presentations. So,
all right, so before we even get to that part,
yeah.
I want to say, like, the people that are listening to this, so this is also going to be the kind of the official announcement for the, how many people are coming to this?
There's over 100.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But this is also the official announcement for those 100 people to get an idea of what's actually going to be happening.
Right.
Right now, you know, they're kind of, you know, it's been a big surprise. It's been, you know, part of it is because still trying to figure out exactly, you know, what the schedule was until now. Today was actually the day everything was finalized. Mm-hmm. So a lot of you guys listening are going to be people who, you know, I hope you know, I'll be meeting you guys in person next week.
Yep.
And really excited about that. And I want to let you guys know how generous Anton is. I mean, it's one of his best qualities as a person. And I'm so fortunate to have met him. You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys know how I met Anton already, but it was just a little bit over a year ago, and I kind of just accidentally met him because I wanted to network with other entrepreneurs. And he told me about dropshipping, about his course, and did it and worked. And I'm like, okay, awesome. And I almost feel like I fell into this because I didn't realize how many people out there in the world are struggling chasing these, you know, these other ideas of things that, you know, may or may not work. While I did, like, the very first course I've ever taken, it just happened to work and it makes me a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And then now I meet all these other people who make a lot of money. And what was really cool about this retreat is the original idea was Anton was just going to rent a big house and it was going to be completely free and everyone could just live there because he'd have a house anyways. Mm-hmm. And when it blew up and 50 people RSVP'd, Anton's like, well, we can't all live in a house. So he decided he's going to spend the money to rent a big conference room. And for every single member who RSVP'd before a certain date, it was completely free. Mm-hmm. Like, it was completely free. And then all it was they put down a deposit, which Anton's going to give back on the day one, just to kind of actually, you know, reserve their seat. And then the only reason why he was even charging $300 for it, which is, to me, is insanely cheap for a conference, because a lot of these conferences are thousands of dollars. And the only reason he did it is because it was getting closer to the date and he needed to secure a room and rent these buses, and he just needed a precise head count. So he didn't want everyone, you know, 2 days before the event saying, oh, by the way, I'm coming. And now, actually, after kind of hearing all this, I'm sure nobody even realizes, but all this stuff, like, I would say 99% of this extra stuff is also included. Like, even lunch. Like, yeah. I don't think anyone expected to get a free lunch out of this.
No.
But so I think that's really cool of you to do that.
Yeah, the way it ended up working out, like Johnny said, like, I obviously started charging for it because it's getting really expensive and the bills added up. But what's good is that, you know, basically everyone that has decided to come and pay for it, the numbers pretty much even out. So yeah, like, it's costing me time, which, you know, people say time is money, but something like this, I'm not really counting that way. So probably be about break even on it because things are adding up quick. But I don't know. Like I met, like, just today when I met a bunch of guys from the course that are just here now. That's really why I did it, because people think, like, they've heard me on your podcast, they see, you know, my course, they hear my story, they hear me on other podcasts, and they think, like, I've been this guy that's been, like, living and traveling the world forever. And I only started living abroad. I only came out to Southeast Asia like 18 months ago, and before that, the only time I've left the States was going to Mexico. Yeah. So, like, the reason I'm doing this is because once I came out here for my 3-week vacation that now has turned into a year and a half, my entire life changed for the better, just because this community is so amazing. And I have friends now, like, literally I have friends all over the world that I could show up at, call them up, meet up for beers or for dinner or to brainstorm or to mastermind or for anything. So that's why I'm doing this, because I want people to take that chance, because it took me, I've been location independent for 8 years running my own business, and it took me 7 years to start doing it because I was kind of scared. I didn't know what it would be like. I had no idea. So everyone that's coming out, like, that says, like, oh, Anton, thanks so much, like, this is amazing, like, I really, like, I admire you guys probably a lot more than you admire the fact that we're doing this, because it takes huge balls to come out here. It takes huge balls. Well, and there's 100 people that are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually honestly surprised how many people had the balls to come out. And, you know, and that's actually the only reason why I have this podcast. And, like, this was the inspiration for it. It was, I felt so fortunate to have kind of weeded through the whole thing. I was literally the first person I knew who did something like this. I mean, my friends back home can't even take a 2-week vacation because they have responsibilities and commitments and all this stuff. So when I first decided to come out, it was only supposed to be for 2 months, and it was the biggest deal in the world. And that's why I wrote 12 Weeks in Thailand, because I was like, you know what, you can come out, you can scuba dive, you can do Muay Thai, all this stuff. And then when I started meeting guys like Anton, that really changed my life in business sense. I was like, I need to start a podcast and interview these guys and get their stories out there, get their word out there. And after making all this actually work, that's when the book came out. And I had people now literally every single day walking into Punspace and saying, hey, I just got off a 18-hour flight. I'm here. I'm here for the retreat. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I know, and this is, early on. I mean, I would say in the next couple of days, it's going to get so insane as people start showing up, and people are excited for this.
Yeah, as they should be. So I'll keep going with it. We just covered Monday. So I'm sorry, I keep thinking it's Tuesday the 7th is the first day. So we covered Tuesday. It's networking, lots of networking, a presentation by me, a presentation by Johnny, lunch, Doisetep, and then a huge party that's really going to be epic. Like, it probably should be the last night because it's going to be that good, but it's going to be a good time. So then the next day, at Tuesday, we're getting started again at 9 a.m. back in the conference center. I know most of us are staying there, so it's perfect. Since you're staying at the hotel, breakfast is included. Wake up, have your meal, and then head upstairs to the 8th floor for the presentations. The first one at 9 a.m. is going to be John McIntyre. Many people know him as the autoresponder guy because that's what he does. The guy is amazing when it comes to like writing sales copy and writing emails, and specifically autoresponders. And he has a podcast now. I think it's almost 100 episodes. And during that podcast, he's interviewed a lot of really big e-commerce names, and probably a lot of the people that you guys have heard of if you like go out there and try to find the guys who put out a lot of content. So he's going to be giving a presentation on email marketing for e-commerce stores. And you've seen on our forum, if you're part of the course, you've seen on our forum a lot of questions come up about this. And I talk about how I do it, but the truth is I don't do anything that advanced, and I don't really test it, and I haven't really researched it. So the presentation that John's going to be doing is what he basically instructs his clients to do, his clients that hire him to write copy for them, and what he's learned from interviewing some of the top e-commerce experts that have been on his podcast about email autoresponders for e-commerce. So ton of value there. He's going to speak about it. And then just like every presentation, there's going to be a question and answer session. So that's presentation 1, 9 a.m. on Wednesday.
And that one I'm excited for because I actually kind of accidentally stumbled into email follow-ups where I signed up for so part of Shopify, which is one of the platforms that we use. There's an app that basically just sends out tracking information, and normally it would just send out the tracking number, nothing else. And I decided, I was like, if I'm gonna send this out anyways, I might as well have another message in there, because it's almost like an autoresponder. And for those who don't know what an autoresponder is, it's basically a program that automatically sends out personalized emails to people after there's an action. And honestly, I don't know that much about it, but I know it works, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, definitely. So that'll be the first one, and then it's going to lead right into the next presentation that is from a guy, Brendan Tully, and this guy is the man. Like, anyone that talks to him immediately gets inspired and learns a lot. Like, I was really excited when I asked him, and he said he would do this. He runs a huge website called the Search Engine Shop, if you want to learn a little bit more about him and his story. And basically, in the past, he has run e-commerce businesses that have done over $6 million a year in sales. So yeah, he knows e-commerce well. And what he does now is consulting for basically to help different e-commerce companies make more money, and not just small companies, like big time companies with big budgets that are already making a lot of money. So what he's going to do for us in his presentation for our group is talk about what we're calling easy e-commerce wins. So basically the things that he checks for every time he gets a new e-commerce company coming to him for consulting. So the easiest changes that you can make that will have the highest impact on conversions and sales. So I'm super excited for this.
I'm super excited because I've actually met BT, Big Brendan Tully, for over a year now. I mean, I met him at CrossFit, and I see him at Punspace sometimes. I see him at least once a month. And he's such a busy guy that I just don't even have time to sit down and talk to him. So this is perfect. I actually got to pick his brain because I know how much money he makes and how and how smart this guy is.
Yeah, super smart guy, really big hustler. Like Johnny said, he's always working, and he's taking the time out to talk to us, and I'm pumped. So that's gonna be great. And then we're gonna do one more in the morning. So the mornings are kind of busy with presentations, and I know when I first announced this, I said I didn't want to overwhelm everyone and just dump too much on you, but I know this like network of people, and I feel like there's so much information to share that it might feel like a lot, and no, we're not going to be able to implement everything we learn. But like I said, everything's recorded. It's going to be in the members area, and you're going to get to ask these people the questions you have after they present. So like anything you kind of feel stuck with, you should get answers for before like you actually start working on it. So the third presentation in the morning of Wednesday, October 8th is going to be from Nate Ginsburg, and a lot of people probably know him from different like online communities he's part of. He actually is on our forum. He's getting into dropshipping now, but his main business, how he makes money and lives online, he's a friend of mine from Vietnam, actually. He lives out there now, is by helping companies with their Pinterest accounts, specifically e-commerce companies. So I talked to him a lot, different cafes and stuff, and he actually showed me some statistics for e-commerce stores that he works with, and he uses Pinterest, and some of them he gets 400 or 500 unique visitors a day off of Pinterest. And that's just like, you guys know, like based on your conversion rates now, if you had an extra 400 or 500 visitors a day, what that's worth. Now, the reason that this isn't something that's going to like change all of our stores overnight is because when I spoke to him, he said that there's certain like kind of niches and certain audiences that it will really work for, and others it won't. So he's not going to talk to us, and we're not all going to start getting crazy traffic tomorrow, but we'll know if it is applicable to our niche, and then we could start, building this like new organic source of traffic. And if it doesn't apply to us right now, maybe a store in the future, you'll know how to actually format it properly to get that traffic.
Or, I mean, since you guys, already know how to build a dropshipping store, after knowing this, ask yourself, well, what new niche can I build a store in that would specifically work with Pinterest?
Right.
And like, to me, it's such an easy idea where you're like, well, I can see this selling really well through Pinterest. I'm not even going to turn on Google Ads. I'm not going to pay for any advertising. I'm just going to use Pinterest for it.
Yeah, seriously. So I'm excited about that too, because I've spoke to him a bit, but like I'm excited to hear it all kind of laid out in actionable steps, like how he recommends going from 0, which is where we're all at now with Pinterest, to getting that organic traffic. So that's going to be really interesting for all of us. And then from there, that's going to take us right into about the lunch break. So we're all going to break and have lunch there. And then after that, this is now on Wednesday, October 8th, we're having a couple big buses pick us up, and they're taking us to Tiger Kingdom. Some of you may not want to go. You don't have to. If you don't want to come for any reasons, if you have anything against it, morally, and I'll say they don't drug the tigers. It's not a place like that. But if you have any, like if you're scared or if it's not your thing, the events, the conference center is ours. So you could stay and co-work and network. But if you want to come, this is included. I'm taking all you guys there. So we're having the buses pick us up, and they're taking us to Tiger Kingdom. Super cool place. There's the little infant baby tigers to I think 600-pound beasts. I mean, maybe even more.
It's just one of those photos you have to take.
You have to. I mean, you're in Chiang Mai. You got to get your photo with the huge tiger.
So here's the thing about Tiger Kingdom. This is why people think it's bad, because the tigers basically just lay around. They look like they're sleeping, but I know 100% they are not drugged, and the reason for that is I slipped one of the guys 200 baht, which is about $6, and I said, prove it to me that these guys are not drugged. And he said, okay. And he's like, please step far out of the cage.
Yeah.
And he, as soon as I left, he pulled out the cat's favorite toy, and this tiger went from a sleeping, seemingly drugged animal to this ferocious, thing that was jumping around and like flying around. And so it turns out what it is these cats have been trained since they're little babies not to move at all when there's people in the cage. And because they don't want people to accidentally get mauled. And, luckily for that, it's as far as I've heard, there's never been an accident, which is pretty insane if you think about it.
Yeah.
So it's super safe. And these tigers, basically you could take a picture with a 600-pound tiger, which you can't do anywhere else in the world. So, it'd be better if they were all on the wild and there's no cities out there and humans didn't exist. But this is, one of those things where, it's not as bad as a zoo, and it's one of those things where they actually are breeding tigers. So it's more, it's and in the big picture, it's not a bad thing at all. So
and if you
don't feel bad,
you don't feel bad. And if you want to come and you're scared of them, and you just want to see it, like it's all big and open, so you could stay behind the cages and just look in and hang out. And they have some other stuff like parrots and things like that. So if that's more your level, they got that too. But I think it's gonna be super fun going with the big group, get a bunch of awesome photos, because I know like it was one of like the most like the biggest adrenaline rushes I've had for a while, just like laying down next to one of these things. So we're doing that Wednesday afternoon. Then we're gonna head back to the conference center, and then Wednesday night is kind of like an optional dinner thing. Basically, like anyone, if you want to start going out and exploring the town, you can. I'm going to be at Cantary Hills, which does a huge buffet once a week on Wednesday nights, and it's
basically like a Vegas style buffet.
Yeah.
It's not
at
cheap.
At a 5-star hotel's restaurant. Yeah,
like it's it's definitely not cheap. It's so in Thailand you can get Thai food, you can get dinner for $1 or $2.
Good dinner too.
Good dinner. This is not going to be that price. It's going to be like $20.
Yeah,
but it seriously is exactly like having a buffet dinner at the Wynn or Bellagio in Vegas, which would be $80.
Yeah.
So it's a heck of a deal. I'll come.
Yeah, I missed it last week. I wanted to go on Wednesday when I first got in, but I missed it. So I'm going next Wednesday during the retreat. So very super simple to get to. And then there's like Johnny said, if you want something at a different price point or a different option or different kind of food, there's so many restaurants. So one of the things that is going to happen is in our Facebook group, our private Facebook group, is there'll be an update, kind of like a post with all different recommended restaurants around town, you know, where we eat normally, where you guys should check out. But that's the plan for Wednesday night. And then Thursday, I'm really excited about the talk because it's from two guys that I've been following seriously probably for like 3 or 4 years now, like not even kidding, the Empire Flipper guys, Justin Cook and Joe Magnotti. And I met Justin Cook for the first time a few nights ago, but so when I first launched the e-commerce course, I had a phone call with those two, and I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. These guys have a huge blog, a huge business, a huge podcast, and they have like just tons of traffic and tons of followers, and they wanted to talk to me about, you know, working together with e-commerce sites. They ended up going a different route, but it's really cool to think now that, you know, like a year or so later, they're here speaking at this event. So if anyone doesn't know right now, if you go to empireflippers.com, you can kind of see like what they're up to and what they're doing. Their business right now is selling websites. So this is so relevant to what we're doing because, like you guys all know, if you're in the course, like I build businesses to sell. I love those big paydays. I like building a business for almost no money at all, putting in a lot of hard work and then getting paid off basically. So these guys are selling websites like crazy right now. They recently transitioned their business into from like kind of like info marketing products to a website brokerage, and they're selling sites so fast. Like things they put up, like they've sold sites, people I know, like go to their website, you could see how fast they sell websites. It's ridiculous. So if anyone has a store that's been successful for, you know, 6 months or more now and they want to sell it, these guys are the guys to go through. They can get you a lot of money very fast, and that's what they're going to be speaking about. So they're going to walk us through. They're going to be speaking for a while. They have the whole morning and an hour in the afternoon to speak because they have a lot of topics to cover, but the main talking points are basically how to get the most money from your store. So steps you should take now. Let's say you know you want to sell your store in 3 months, 6 months, a year. What should you do now so when you go to sell, it sells fast and you get the top dollar for it? So super valuable information.
I think it's really cool. I've been a big fan of their podcast as well. You know, especially when I was first getting started out, you know, it was like a weekly thing for me, you know, and the thing about selling stores, to me, it's such a nice bonus of having a dropshipping store. I would say when I first started dropshipping, my goal was I wanted to make $1,000 a month so I can live location independently and just be on a budget. And I think that was actually a very good first step, but not realizing that, you know, if you can make $1,000 a month, it's almost no extra effort to make $2,000 a month, you know? And then on top of that, there's all these other weird bonuses that nobody even mentioned to me, like being able to travel for free. Like everywhere I've flown, my entire trip to Europe, flying business class was free just because I had enough reward points from running this e-commerce store to pay for it. And another huge benefit, that's like a $50,000 benefit that nobody ever talks about, is the day that you decide, hey, you know what, I just want to retire, I just want to not do this anymore. Now I don't want to work 4 hours a week anymore. I'm done.
Yep.
You can flip your site. You can sell it through like Empire Flippers or one of these guys for usually about 18 times your monthly.
Yeah, they're
profit.
selling sites for 20 times now, like easy. Like that's their basically minimum. So 20 times what you make a month, you can get all at once. And
which means if I decided to sell one of my e-commerce stores, I would have $50,000 cash.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's insane.
More. You'd have more.
I'd have more.
Yeah.
But I mean, minimum.
Yeah. So it's crazy, like, just to think, though. So, but you also see, this is what I learned when I sold my first e-commerce businesses. There are, like, certain things, there's very specific things that buyers look for that you have to be doing now. So when you go to sell, you actually get one of those quality buyers that has cash, that's not trying to, like, finance it through you. There's a lot of, like, very specific things that have to be kind of checked off. So we're going to learn those things. And another part of this presentation that they're doing, the Empire Flipper guys that they're calling the Empire Workshop, is adding a whole section on how to outsource actual like day-to-day tasks of your business. The reason that it's very appropriate that, you know, they're talking about it is because they actually own a huge outsourcing company based in the Philippines. So the way it works with that is they have people hire their company to use their staff in the Philippines. So they have an office there with Filipino employees that they use as an outsourced team. So they're going to talk about the best techniques for basically setting up what we call standard operating procedures or SOPs. So basically like creating systems in your business for how things get done, and then how you should outsource them, not only to get the best work possible, but to get the best prices possible. So it's really cool stuff. And it's not just like the basics of outsourcing. It's what I'd consider like next level outsourcing, how to outsource the right way. So it'll be really interesting to learn from them as well, being they own a company for it. Yeah, so that's going to like wrap it up. Like their whole talks about, you know, how to prepare your website for sale, how to get top dollar, and then how to basically outsource day-to-day tasks in a really like effective and systemized way. That's going to wrap up the presentations for Thursday, October 9th. And then we're going to have lunch. And then in the afternoon, we are actually all going to get back into these big VIP buses. They're going to pick us up again. And they're going to take us to a place that I've only been to for the first time about 2 months ago. But it was so cool. As soon as I went, I was like, okay, when everyone's here, they're coming. It's called the Sticky Waterfall. That's not the real name for it. I don't know. It's some Thai name. But we call it the Sticky Waterfall. And the reason is it's like made out of the deposits that form these rocks. They're not actually sticky like when you think like gooey
they're
sticky.
They're non-slip.
Yeah, they're non-slip. So it's this huge white waterfall that you can walk up, and it sounds like fake, and I thought it wouldn't be like what I don't know. I got there, I was at the bottom, and I was just staring at it like there's no way I could walk up this, and then I climbed up a powerful waterfall, and it was the coolest thing I've done. So yeah.
It is insane, and it's one of those really cool things because it's not part of any tourist package, where I would say 99% of people who've been to Chiang Mai have never even heard of it.
No.
Yeah, been there.
I lived here for 9 months, and I didn't know until you told me about it last time I was visiting.
So that I'm super excited about that, especially because when you're going to have 100 people walking up a waterfall.
Yeah, it's insane.
The photos are going to be so sick.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's a little bit off the beaten path. It's like 45-minute ride outside of town. But I mean, I really, like, I had so much fun, so I want you guys all to go too. And again, like, we're going to be on a bus for 45 minutes together. It's more time to talk to the person next to you, to network. When we're there, we're all hanging out. So I think that's just like a really cool way to spend an afternoon and just get to know each other better. So that's what we're doing on Thursday, October 9th in the afternoon. And then, of course, heading back to the hotel again. And then for dinner, the dinner plans haven't been finalized for that night, but, you know, we'll figure it out. We'll all go out together somewhere and have a good time, or basically have more time to do your own thing. And then Friday, which is October 10th, and the final day is another day that, you know, I'm kind of really excited about for presentations. But this day, the times are not, we might get started a little early, only because I'm trying to do like what I think is the coolest thing I've ever done in Chiang Mai in the afternoon, and it takes a lot of time.
And something I haven't even done yet.
Yeah.
And I've been here for a year and a half.
Yeah, so we might be waking up early on Friday for presentations, but I'll tell you just who's going to be speaking so you kind of know like what you're in for. So we have a good friend of mine who I met out here in Chiang Mai, and then he lived out actually in the apartment above me in Saigon for a bit, and now he's back in Chiang Mai, a guy, Brandon Nolte. So he's actually been on Johnny's podcast before, if you want to go back and listen to his like former business and what he used to do, which was Amazon publishing. Like, he would write Amazon Kindle books. But what was interesting is he didn't write the books. He had a whole team. Basically, he had people that would research what the topics should be on. Then he had people that would write the content. And then he had like a higher level person who would actually go in and edit this content and make sure it was ready for publishing. So he did that for a while. And then Amazon actually got too competitive. So he wanted to kind of, you know, pivot to what he was doing. And he started a drop shipping store. And he's been super successful with it. I think he's been doing it for maybe about a year now. But he's doing really well. And you guys all know how I get traffic to my e-commerce stores the same way you guys do, the same way I teach. But what he does is totally different. So his products, the way he gets traffic to his product pages is actually all through content marketing. So the way he does it is the same way he did it for his Amazon books. He has a team in place of outsourced employees, and you would think they'd cost more because it sounds like kind of complicated work, but he actually pays them very low fees for what they do. So again, he has people going out there and doing the keyword research for his niche, for his dropship store, which is very niche specific. He has people going out there and researching what should be written about. Then he has 2 people, at least he might be more now. Last time I talked to him, he has 2 people that are actually writing this content based on this keyword research. And then he has this basically top level person who goes in and refines all this content, and he constantly pushes it out to his blog, which is on his e-commerce store, and he gets a ton of traffic, and he's doing so well from it. And I've never done this, and I'm really excited to implement it.
I'm excited about that too, because I have a blog on my e-commerce stores, but it has like 4 posts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I don't want to spend all day writing about it. So now now, like hearing this, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's perfect because like me too, like, and the reason I don't blog is because I don't like write. I can't picture having to like commit to a schedule of, okay, I'm going to put out 2 new articles a week. But if you have a system in place where you're getting not only quality content that's been proofread by someone, but that's been researched beforehand, so your keywords are all set, and I know it's working for him. It's not just some guy that told me like, yeah, I'm doing this, you should try it, which I hear a lot. Like this is some guy that I'm friends with that is doing really well because of this strategy for his e-commerce store. So really excited for that. And so thanks to him for speaking. That's going to be on Friday in the morning. The next presenter on Friday morning, it's actually a couple that many of you might know, Jill and Josh Stanton. Their website is Screw the 9 to 5. That's their podcast where they do something like they interview a lot of different online entrepreneurs from around the world, but their main business is actually affiliate marketing. So they build affiliate sites, and they I don't know if everyone, I'm assuming most people are affiliate with content, I'm assuming most people are familiar with affiliate marketing, but if you're not, it's basically like promoting products and services online, and if someone buys based on your referral, you earn a commission. So that was always their main business, and they ended up doing really well with it. Then they're actually getting into e-commerce now, and they're getting into info products, and their main source of traffic for all of these business models, and they make a lot of money, their main source of traffic for all of this is Facebook ads. So as you all know, the only Facebook ads I do is very simple retargeting. Come to my site, I show you an ad, try to get you back. They take this to like an entirely new level. It's stuff that I don't do at all. It's stuff that I honestly know nothing about, and I've spoken with Josh with a little bit, trying to get my head around it, and I'm excited for a real presentation because the casual conversations, I haven't implemented myself yet. So I'm really excited to learn from him and his wife, and they're going to give us a lot of really good information.
You know what? I am so excited for this because basically with my e-commerce stores, I started, like with my main store, I started it 14 months ago, and it hasn't changed that much since then. I've added some more products. I've made a lot of tweaks, a lot of optimization tweaks, but my sources of traffic have been, pretty much the same. I've basically been, following the Anton method to a T.
Yep.
And I've been making $20,000 to $30,000 in sales per month consistently using just those methods. And now I know that after these presentations, I'm going to have a whole new or 5 new sources of traffic.
That's what I think is so crazy. And that's why, like, this is stuff that, like, and it's not just you, like, you're excited, like, I'm excited, because it's one thing to, like, read an article online about someone doing Facebook ads or content marketing, but we're going to be learning from, like, the best and people that we both know, like, Johnny and I personally know that make money by doing this. So there's no, like, if you guys come, you're going to know you're hearing from quality people, not someone trying to sell you anything. Like, there's no sales going on. You're going to hear from people that know what they're doing. So we're both pumped for our own stores. So you guys should obviously be too. Yeah. So. And
you know what? If you guys don't have a dropshipping store yet, I don't know what is holding you guys back, seriously. Because if you guys don't have, like, all right, let's say you guys don't ever want to travel, or you guys don't want to be location dependent, and you just listen to this podcast for fun. I guess you like my personality, then I understand. But for anyone who really does dream about having a location dependent business and be able to travel and be able to do things like this, there is absolutely no reason why you guys shouldn't put your head down for 2 months and just follow the system that we all know works now. Because, and I know it works for everyone, because I personally have now met 50 plus people.
Yeah, just go into Punspace and ask who's making money with dropshipping.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, just have it make you $2,000 a month. Like, that's a very simple task. You can
It's so funny you say that, though, because picture you were back home like years ago and you heard a podcast and some guys like, it's so simple to make $2,000 a month. You'd be like, this idiot, like this guy's, you would think he was crazy, right? And now you're saying it now, like,
I know for a fact. I know a fact, or let's say even 1,000. You can live for $1,000 a month. Really almost anywhere in Southeast Asia. Well, for sure. 100% sure you can. I would say definitely if you want to make 5,000 or 10,000, you have to put in the work. You have to really, you have to really put in effort, really, implement a lot of things and treat it kind of like as a full-time business. But if you just want to make enough to be able to travel and be location dependent and have time to do other things, I will guarantee you just follow exactly what Anton says. And I would say with every single person I met, it's been some people do it a lot faster. They make their first sale much sooner. And some people, they drag their feet and it takes them months to put up. But I would say on average, for people that really just dedicate and say, I'm going to do this, 2 months you make your first sale. And then you're like, wow, I can't believe I just made $100, selling this. Why don't I just do this, make $100 every day? And if you make $100 every day, that's $3,000 a month. I mean, literally, that's that simple. You sell one product a day that you have $100 margin on, and you sell one every day, you make $3,000 a month. That's really the math for it. So if you guys don't have a store yet, and you guys, if you guys been listening to this podcast for a few months, and you are kicking yourself in the butt right now for not being out here and not having this location independence. Maybe you have a job that you're afraid to leave because you don't have another income, or you're afraid to travel, you're afraid to whatever it is. Just seriously get over it. So by the next time there's a retreat, you'll not only have some money, but then you'll also know like, hey, I should have just done this earlier.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. There's no reason not to do it. If you dream of like Johnny said, it's easy to make 2,000, and I hate to like put people down that haven't done it yet or anything, but I really don't think it's the hardest thing in the world to do, and I think everyone's more than smart enough to do it. So if you have a desire to, just put in the work. Like go on our forum and just read through different people's stories, and you'll be like, wow, I have no excuse. There's no excuses. Yeah.
Like, all right. So if you haven't read my book, Life Changes Quick, just buy it right now.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't have the $8 to buy it, and then forward me your confirmation to hello@lifechangesquick.com, and I'll refund you your money. And the only reason why I want you guys to do that is just so the book gets pushed up in the Amazon rankings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally the only reason. And I want this book to be in the hands of as many people as possible, because if it wasn't for a very like specific set of circumstances, I never would have made it out here. If it wasn't for me coming on a 3-week vacation 5 years ago with my cousins that basically forced me to come out, I never would have even came to town once.
Yeah.
If it wasn't that on the very last day when we kind of ran out of tours to do, we decided to do a Discover scuba diving class, I never would have fell in love with scuba diving. And if it wasn't for that, I never would have moved out to Thailand, permanently. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have found Muay Thai. If it wasn't for Muay Thai, I wouldn't have found my first blog or wrote my first book, 12 Years in Thailand. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have decided to do CrossFit. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have met all, guys like Kurt and Anton who taught me about online business. And if it wasn't for Anton, I never would have, made money dropshipping. I wouldn't be here today. Yeah. And the thing is, for that to happen to you guys, it's a very small chance.
Well, this is how small the chance is. So all that stuff happened for you, and then the fact, like, I came to Thailand last year for 3 weeks just to, tour around and see everything, to kind of take a break from, my life back home. And if you hadn't done all that stuff and I hadn't, found you on Facebook and sent you a message asking to come to dinner, I wouldn't have met the digital nomad community in Chiang Mai. I wouldn't have come back here after scuba diving. I wouldn't have lived here, and this retreat wouldn't be happening. So, everything that happened to you also now relates to me, and that relates to everyone listening to this and coming out here. If that wouldn't happen to Johnny, this wouldn't be happening right now. It's really crazy how life works. But
all right, so either do one of two things. You either read the book because it explains the whole story in detail, and a lot of things that that are the smaller points, and honestly some of the things that are a bit embarrassing I don't want to talk about in public, but I wrote in the book. Or just go to my blog, johnnyfd.com, and click on recommended resources. Every single thing that I do, not only for business, but for my health, to get in shape, for literally every single thing that I do in my life is on that page. So if on there is Anton's course, Anton Method, all right? On there is the strong list workout that I do. On there is the platforms I use. On there is literally every single thing, every single book I recommend, everything is on there, and no more excuses. I want you guys to be out here next year. I mean, next year, I don't want 100 people here. I want it to. It's gonna be crazy. I want it to be insane.
It's gonna be crazy. This year is gonna be crazy. Next year, I can only imagine, because, like I said, I've never been to a conference. Definitely never hosted one. Lots of a big learning curve, and it's still gonna be this amazing. So it's just we'll keep you updated as the year goes on. We'll definitely do a podcast. Try to get a group of guys together maybe after it and have everyone talk. I want people to talk about what they're doing out there. But let's keep going with what's going on. So Friday morning, after those first 2 presentations, there's gonna be one more. There's basically 3 presentations every day, and the third one on Friday is my buddy Vince Wong, that he used to live out here in Chiang Mai. He's been featured on Tim Ferriss's blog. He actually won a contest that Tim Ferriss was doing for filming the trailer for the 4-Hour Chef book. So he's a really cool guy. He used to be a big affiliate marketer, and he's big into the whole lifestyle design thing. So his is not really related to e-commerce. It's his talk. It's more just related to basically living a location-independent lifestyle and outsourcing your life. So the things he's going to talk about are basically how to get rid of day-to-day tasks that usually you're doing for yourself, that fill up your hours when you could be working, when you could be relaxing, when you could be reading, just making your life easier on yourself. It's a big thing that he's into, which is why he has that connection with Tim Ferriss. So kind of, different way to end it. Not an e-commerce topic, but something that I think will interest a lot of you. I know it's interesting to me.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to kind of wrap up the whole lifestyle part of it.
Yeah. So that's going to be the final talk on Friday. Now, I'm going to announce this now. I haven't actually finalized all the details yet because I'm still trying to make it work. But there's this place out here in Chiang Mai called the Elephant Nature Park. And if you Google like things to do in Chiang Mai or like elephants Chiang Mai, this place has over 5,000 5-star reviews on TripAdvisor. It's absolutely insane. I went to it with my sister about 2 months ago when she came out. I mean, it must have been more, maybe like 3 or 4 months ago when she came out to visit me in Southeast Asia. And this place just like blew my mind. And I'm trying to get us all to go out there for a half-day trip. Now, they usually don't do half-day trips. They usually don't work with groups unless they're schools. But I've been talking to them, and it's almost finalized. I'm going to try to finalize it tomorrow morning. Yeah. So by the time this comes out, we'll post a note if it's happening or not. But basically, yeah.
But I want to come because I want this to happen because I've never been there before. So this is the one I haven't been to. All the other outings, I've been to them, and I liked them so much that I want to go again. Yep. So I'm actually excited to go again, especially with new people. But this one I've never been to, and the reason why I've never been to it is, a year and a half ago when I first came here as a tourist, I couldn't afford it.
It's insanely expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, it's like when I went with my sister, we did the overnight. They give you an option to go for a full day or spend the night, and we rented like a cabin there or something. And I don't remember because she paid for it for us, but I think it was $200 a person. And for Chiang Mai, you have to understand that's like
a lot.
That's a lot of money in Chiang Mai.
That's probably the most expensive thing in Chiang Mai.
I'm almost positive it is. But the reason it's so expensive, this place, is because they use all their money to basically pay for their land and to like rescue these elephants. So many, like if you go to the center of Chiang Mai and you walk around the tourist areas, you see all these signs to go to these elephant parks where you go and you ride them, like things like that. They do shows for you. And what you basically learn at Elephant Nature Park is that these places are just doing nothing more than abusing these elephants. They come from Burma, and they're basically like, they're raised to make people money. And it's actually like a pretty sad story, but what the Elephant Nature Park does is provide them with a huge open space where they get to roam around freely. And part of that money that you pay is, used to volunteer. So again, this I'm trying to get for, like included for everyone. It's probably gonna be like a very small fee to attend, but like literally like a tenth of the price you'd pay if you just went by yourself.
So I think that's really cool because Anton, he's not even kind of mentioning what he's doing. He's basically paying out of his pocket to subsidize everyone to go because he knows that people coming out here are on a budget and they don't have an extra $200 to drop. But he liked that place so much. He knows that people are gonna love it so much that he's like, what can I do to make it affordable for everyone to come? So I think that the number that we've kind of decided on is if you can make it 1,000 baht, everybody can afford that.
About $30 US, yeah.
Yeah, like there's nobody in the world that can't afford $30 US dollars, but a lot of people can't afford 200.
Right, which is what it would cost if you just went there. Yeah.
So I think that's very cool of you to subsidize it for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I know a lot of people that they're coming out here. They're bootstrapping, which I totally respect, and they're not out here to go on these huge expeditions and drop a lot of cash. But I had such a good experience out there that I really do want you all to also, even if you're only here for the 4 days for the retreat, I want you to experience something like this. And like, it's just a cool place. Tons of elephants around. You basically, you feed them. You can go in the water with them if you want. You just walk around the place. They tell you all the different stories about them. It's just like, it's a nice way to spend an afternoon. And they're giving us lunch too. So on Friday, we're doing 3 presentations in the morning. We're not doing lunch at the conference center. We're getting taken in their minivans over to their park where they're going to serve us a whole big buffet lunch. And then we're going to spend the afternoon just hanging out with the elephants. And
that'd be cool.
You can, bring your cameras. I mean, again, you're going to have tons of opportunities to take awesome photos. And and then Friday night, the exact location hasn't been locked in yet, but we're doing a wrap-up party Friday night, similar to the one that will be on Tuesday. Just a big space, music, food, and then if you want the beers, that'll be there for you.
But what I like about the Friday night event, and I actually didn't realize that there was going to be 2 parties. Mm-hmm. When I first heard about Coffee Monster hosting the party, I was thinking, that's going to be really cool because people are going to network, and it's kind of a smaller environment where everyone can kind of get to know each other. Mm-hmm. Originally, I actually thought you meant that for the last night, and I was thinking, it's kind of a shame that a lot of people are coming out here and they're not really gonna see like the Thai bar scene, the Thai cultural scene.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's really cool is that first night we're having it at the Coffee Monster, so everyone can get to know each other in a private setting. Mm-hmm. But then on Friday, it's going to be on Neiman Hamlin Road, which is the equivalent of going out in, a cool part of New York, like East Village, New York, mm-hmm. where all the bars are like probably within walking distance of where the venue is going to be 15 bars and nightclubs.
Yeah, definitely.
So people can,
if you guys want to stay out and party, you can hop around all night.
Yeah. And the thing is, so the coolest bar in Chiang Mai is called the Warm Up Cafe. Mm-hmm. This is where all the college kids go. Everyone, dresses up. Outside of it, this is where you see Porsches and Ducatis and everything. Yeah. And this is going to be walking distance from the party. So you guys got to experience that part of it as well.
And just so everyone knows, that's going to be included too. So the dinner there on Friday night, that's included with the retreat. So everyone that comes gets dinner, and then we're going to do open bar for a couple hours. So if you want to drink that night. I don't recommend. It's up to you guys, obviously, but we're gonna be so busy the other nights. I know I'm gonna wait to that night. Then I'll be having some beers with all you. I'm looking forward to that. And then, like we said, that actually is the official end to the retreat. It's those 4 days. But then I'm personally sticking around Chiang Mai for a little bit. So I'll be here on Saturday. I'm probably gonna take it easy. I don't know. I might go to a pool or something. What's great is we have our Facebook group where everyone's posting what's going on. So we'll share some information there. And then on Sunday, I really hope a lot of people are still around, because when I was here last time, I went with Johnny and a few friends to the Four Seasons Chiang Mai, which does a brunch on Sunday. And this thing is amazing. I mean, first of all, it's the Four Seasons, so their whole like property is just done up as nice as I've ever seen. Their pools are amazing. They have a huge hot tub. They have really nice like steam rooms and sauna and all those amenities. But then the food is what did it for me. With you talk about that.
All right, so basically for Sunday, it's not going to be all 100 people, because a lot of people are going to be gone by then, and it's also going to be expensive. This definitely isn't going to be included. This is going to be really.
What's the price? Do you remember?
I think it's 1,500 baht, which is about $50 US.
Yeah,
which is a lot of money, especially for Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's worth it is gourmet food.
Yeah.
That you would not be able to get for $50 in the States.
And you're spending a day at a resort where people spend, I think it's minimum like $700 for like a bad room there. So like you're at a baller place.
I don't think it'd be a bad room, but I think the most basic.
Yeah, they're bad room.
I don't think they have bad rooms at the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
But so this is kind of a travel hack where most people don't know that you can enjoy all the amenities of a $700 a room night. And be able to use it all for $50.
Yep.
And the thing is, the people spending $700 a night staying there, they still have to pay $50 for lunch.
Yeah, yeah. And the lunch is so good, and there's so much delicious food, and the view is unreal, and the pools are great. Like, it's going to just be a fun kind of chill out day, and again, more networking. So, of course, if you're in town, please come out. I mean, I'm going to be there, and I hope you guys come.
But so one of the things is, I don't want the people who are just starting out, who are bootstrapping, to feel left out, because the private Facebook group for the event is going to be happening, and what's going to happen is there's going to be people who are bootstrapping and starting out. They're going to also have an outing, so they're all going to meet up for lunch and hang out at a pool. That's not going to cost $50. It's probably going to cost $5 or $10.
Exactly. Yep.
And I actually think it's a good thing, where it's going to, by the end of the weekend, everyone's going to know each other so well, and it's going to break up into kind of the people who are already killing it, already making $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 a month, and then it's going to break out to the people who are kind of just getting started. And I really think that they're going to be able to help each other more, the people who are just getting started, and also the people that have been doing this a while. When on the Sunday, when the kind of basically it's going to be the ballers. It's going to be the people who are who are really crushing it already. They're going to be the ones hanging out in the jacuzzi at the Four Seasons, and that's going to be the kind of the super high level business talk. But what's cool about it is, if you're just starting out, you got to hang out with all the people just starting out as well, and they're gonna be, you guys are gonna be gun ho helping each other out to get to that level. So
don't be like ashamed or embarrassed or like extend your money or anything, because the amount of stories you hear when you're out here, you're gonna meet people like this that came out here with literally like a few $100s and turned it into thousands in like almost no time. Like it's really crazy, and so don't be embarrassed.
I had nothing. I had $200.
Yeah.
And if you asked me to spend $50 on lunch, I would have said, "There's no freaking way. That's half my rent."
I heard it on your podcast when Ben said he came here with $120. Because he had messed up this plane ticket, didn't get a refund, and he thought he'd have about $1,000. He ended up coming here with like less than $200. Yeah.
And it'd be stupid. I would yell, like, if he tried to spend half of that on lunch, I would say, no, get to work.
Right.
Yeah.
You have other things to do. Yeah.
If anything, on that Sunday, while we're having lunch, co-work.
Yep.
That's when you guys go to Punspace, or that's when you guys go back to Coffee Monster, and that's when you guys are like, you know what? By this time next year, I'm going to be staying at the Four Seasons.
Seriously. You like make goals like that, and just think like Four Seasons isn't going anywhere, Stay and do your work now and hustle now. The people that get themselves in trouble are the people that always try to live above their means. So if you're bootstrapping and it's not for you, don't be ashamed. But everyone that's going to be there, I'm looking forward to seeing you. And you know how it is at the retreat. We're all mixed together. You'll be talking to every people at every level. So yeah, lots to look forward to, guys. And if you're not out here yet, I hope you listen to this on your flight. Put it on your iPod. Yeah, get ready for it.
Can you imagine the people on their plane listening to this on their way to Thailand for the retreat? They're going to be jumping up and down.
I would be. Yeah,
I would be so. You know what? I'm here in Chiang Mai, and I'm excited.
Yep.
And I've been living this lifestyle already for a year, and I'm still excited. So I can't even imagine the people who just spent the last 10 years of their life working at some job they freaking hate, and they're finally like, you know what? I'm coming out.
Yeah.
So welcome, guys. All right.
Welcome, yeah.
Welcome. If you guys aren't part of Anton's course yet, you can find it at www.antonmethod.com, or you can check out the show notes of episode 51 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. And I promise you, this will happen again. And by the next time this happens, you guys better be there, because I want to meet every single person listening to this in person. I want you guys all do well. So thanks for coming on the show, Anton.
Yeah, thanks for having me once again. And yeah, I'm excited to meet all you guys, if not this year, then next, to make it happen.
All right. See you guys later. Thank you for listening to the Travel Like a Boss podcast. If you want to hear more, including the bonus How to Choose the Perfect Niche episode, join our mailing list at travellikeabosspodcast.com. See you next week. And remember, if you want to travel like a boss, you need to be your own boss. So start your online business today and start living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of.